Hi, in this demo of Warpdrive, we will cover human-in-the-loop automations and talk about two things: warps, which do not require human interaction, and human-in-the-loop automations that pause and delegate control to humans. So let's imagine a scenario that you are a QA tester in Gusto, and let's start all the way from logging in. So what we're going to do is we are going to be testing out, let's say, the support part of the site. Okay, so I'm going to quickly jump in right off the bat and start with Warpdrive and start recording. In other videos, you can see a more slower process of what it means to have a warp, what the recording process is, and other things. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a workflow. So I'm going to create a new workflow. I'm going to the starting URL is going to be Gusto, and what I want to do is QA test Gusto's support feedback. Okay, so it takes me to Gusto, and I am going to sign in, and I have my password saved, so I'm not going to type that in. I'm going to just go ahead and click sign in, right? I just want to navigate to the, let's say, the time off support system. I need help with this. I'm going to open up this is supposed to open up a new tab. Cool. I'm going to search for time off here. All of this is getting recorded because we have the tiny Warpdrive widget right here. And note that it's not actually recording the screen. Now I can if I just sit here, nothing is really happening. It's only recording my actions, right? So let's say I want to click off manage my time off. And then this is maybe the piece that I really want to test. So I click no, I type something here, QA test, send, no, but I want to switch that back to yes. And then I'm going to close this tab and then maybe even sign out, right? Okay, cool. Let's stop this recording. It was just a minute long. Let's see. Now we're going to go back and it's going to show up as as a guide or a warp. Okay, now let's warp this. Okay, so this is the part where we are looking for full non-human intervention, just a complete warp through and through of a program that should have been generated from the recording that I just made, right? I'm going to go ahead and click warp, and notice that this is something that I know that. Okay, so warping on sign-ins, Gusto does something slightly adversarial. Okay, so it's kind of turned into a human-in-the-loop automation anyway. So I'm going to click sign in, and then hopefully the warp is going to continue on its own, right? So we go here. Oh wow, what is happening? Gusto is having its own problems. Huh, that is interesting. Let's see what it does. Retry for a live version. Okay, looks like Gusto was able to, let me see. I mean, I literally looks like I hit Gusto's. Okay, I went here. Let's go ahead and abort this, and now go ahead and try this again. I'm gonna sign this out. Looks like I literally hit an issue with Gusto while I was running my warp. That is super interesting. Okay. Let me run the warp again. I wanted to show you what we have recorded as opposed to Gusto failing. That was pretty cool. Okay, we sign in. And then, okay, now my hands are off the keyboard and mouse, and it's continuing and doing exactly what I recorded, into the program. Okay, cool. Type QA tasks, and now yes, okay, everything's cool. Does the task, and now signs off. And there we go, workflow is complete. Now we're back on the dashboard, right? So that's nice. Now that was a fully automated warp, right? But imagine a scenario where in the middle of the workflow, we actually wanted some user input. Supposing you're a QA tester, you don't want to repeat this. I mean, theoretically, this is good. this sets me up to run this test automatically every morning, let's say, and ensure that no regressions happen, right? In fact, we kind of actually saw Gusto failed, and at that point, Warpdrive had stopped executing, and that might be a nice point for you to report, cool, something is failing on the site, right? It can go out as a notification to people. Now, but let's imagine a scenario that I don't want to just run this warp every time. I maybe want to select something on the page, like, where there was like a list of options. So how would one do that, right? Let's see how we create human in the loop automations through Warpdrive, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my same warp that I just had, and I'm going to turn that from a fully automated system into a human in the loop automation by clicking edit. And what edit does is it's going to walk me step by step through all the steps of this program that was generated, right? So I have a sign in, okay, cool. And then it's next. So it wants me to click on sign in, and notice that, like, it follows me around, right? Like, it notices intelligently. I didn't have to do any like additional steps to make this work. This was just like from the recording. Now it knows what it needs to do, and it's like pointing to the right place, and like, it kind of moves around with me and all of that, like, all the good stuff. It wants me to click on search help center, wants me to do time off here. I'm going to do that. Then if I click done, okay, so now this is a step where I have a bunch of options. Maybe I don't want to always click on manage your time off with employees, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, like, first maybe make it a little more accessible, and I'm going to say pick a help article, right? Maybe this is for my own information. Maybe this is if I want to set this warp to a coworker. For example, like, I'll put that manage your time off employees as one that I could click. Okay, so I edited the instructions, so that's a little bit more helpful. It automatically disables auto run, which is cool, which I want. I wanted to pause at this step. And maybe I do also want to add a screenshot. I want to add, like, these are the list of things that you're expecting here. And so you will go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we have it set up. And then if I click, let's say if I, go ahead and navigate to this, now it wants me to click that. So the rest of the warp, I actually don't want to edit. I want to leave it as is, like everything is auto run, cool. I'm going to go ahead and exit the workflow. Okay. Now let's close this, let's sign out. We're in the middle of that step. Okay, now if I warp, I will see it go through everything that I want to auto run, and then it will pause for user input at the designated place, right? So it's going to go ahead and, like, try to sign in. And that will call, clicked on that, okay. And then it's going to continue on with, like, intelligently noting that, like, stuff has appeared on the screen. Time off, my hands are off the keyboard. Cool. This is the step that I had turned into a breakpoint, right? So now instead of clicking this, maybe I want to click like I want to test something different out, right? And I click done, and it's going to go ahead and, like, click the rest, like run the rest of the warp automatically, and I don't have to do anything here, right? Nice. So note what we demonstrated, right? One, I can create a fully automated warp just by recording my test. Number two, I can set breakpoints and add helpful descriptions and screenshots for myself or my colleagues later on. Three, I can have the warp continue on if the rest of the workflow works based on the prior recording. Note, like, it could very well be the case that, like, when it pauses, I do something completely random. Maybe I even, like, close all the windows. Right, in that case, like, Warpdrive has no way of, like, finishing the workflow. So what it'll do is, like, it'll just pause there and basically delegate control back to the human. So this is what we mean by the novel human in the loop automated testing that Warpdrive enables. So take your existing QA folks and make them 2x faster. Cool. Thanks for watching.